Number 10. Robert Pattinson. Before he was Edward Cullen in Twilight, and before he was Cedric Diggory in Goblet of Fire, Robert Pattinson was an educated gentleman. At least that's what he likes to tell people. When he first moved to Los Angeles, he found it difficult to get work as an English actor. When he was brought into casting rooms, he didn't have the mountain of experience that some producers required an actor to possess. Eventually, he figured the easiest way to get work was to tell just a little fib. When they would ask him his background and what he had been up to for the past few years, he would tell casting directors that he had studied at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, which is number 12 on the Hollywood Reporter's ranking of the world's best theater schools. He would follow it up with, "Oh, and after that, I went to Oxford." You know how it is. This worked for a long time until too many English actors who had proof of attendance began moving to the city. For a while, he admits to switching his methods to putting on a fake American accent, but that didn't work so well. Eventually, it was revealed by RADA themselves that Robert had never attended the school or even taken a tour. Man, he didn't even step foot in that place. At that point, he had already been casted in the projects mentioned earlier in the century, and his abilities as an actor have only gotten better and better over the years. And he's Batman now! He's only like the 6th one? I don't know, but still. Number 9. Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway not only shares the same name as William Shakespeare's wife, but she is also an incredible actor with one small issue. She's a liar! When an audition for Ang Lee's romantic drama Brokeback Mountain came up, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger as the leading men, she told a little fib about her ability to ride a horse. Anne apparently received some key advice from her parents at a young age. She said her parents gave her a lot of gifts in her life, and one of those is that if you're ever asked if you can do anything by anyone, you say yes. You can learn anything in 2 weeks if you're motivated enough. Okay, that's a nice thought and all, but that doesn't really apply to everything. You know, you can't learn nuclear physics, for instance, or surgical skills in 2 weeks. Despite never actually riding a horse, she confidently told Ang Lee that she was a pro. She was casted, and when it came time to ride the neigh-neigh, she was noticeably nervous. While she claims to have gained the skill in 2 weeks as planned, she had an embarrassing moment on set when she realized that the horses they were using only responded to verbal commands rather than physical ones like she had learned. She was in rehearsal surrounded by 300 extras, all of whom worked in rodeos, and they just watched Anne lightly kick her horse while it just stood there just like, "Hey, Anne Hathaway's on my back, look at that." Number 8. Liam Hemsworth. Before following in his brother's footsteps to become the actor he is today, Liam was actually making a living laying floors. He ended up getting an agent at the age of 16, and the rest is history. In 2009, Liam was cast to star alongside Hannah Montana star Miley Cyrus in a romantic flick called The Last Song. During the audition process, Liam was asked if he was any good at volleyball, as some scenes were set to take place on a beach, and he would be made to actually play a game. He said he was great at it, it's the best sport there is. Of course, that was a total lie, and when it came time for him to actually serve the ball, he failed to keep it in the lines 10 times. The amount of takes that must exist of Liam either missing that ball or hitting it out of bounds must be astonishing. His fib was called out, and he was forced to partake in a volleyball boot camp of sorts. Despite the effort put in by both Liam and his co-star Miley Cyrus, the movie turned out to be a flop and currently sits at 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 7. Chloe Grace Moretz. Alright, she may not be acting as much these days, but between 2008 and 2016, Chloe was in dozens of big-budget, critically acclaimed projects, from Diary of the Wimpy Kid to The Equalizer. She's stolen the show every time she's come on screen. To attain her role in the 2011 fantasy adventure Hugo, she decided to fib to the casting directors in order to help secure the role. Critically acclaimed director Martin Scorsese, the creator of incredible films like The Departed, Wolf of Wall Street, and Goodfellas, was tricked by the young Moretz when she appeared for her audition prepared with a proper British accent. According to an interview for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Chloe had never done a British accent before but was encouraged to tell the tall tale by the casting director of the project. Apparently, she loved Chloe's ability to perform and wanted her for the role that was calling for an exclusively British actor. She told Martin that she was from a made-up part of England. She fabricated a backstory about her parents being horse breeders, and somehow Marty ate that up. She was casted in a leading role alongside Asa Butterfield as the titular Hugo. It wasn't until the middle of production that Chloe slipped on set and reverted to her natural accent, but by that time Martin was more impressed than upset. This kid tricked him and an entire crew of people for weeks and stayed in character through it all. The jig was up after her parents came to visit the set one day, and as Chloe says, they are very American. She caved and told Martin that she was actually from Georgia and followed it with, "Alright, so what's the next scene?" Thankfully, that lie paid off, and she went on to star in several solid flicks, and Hugo earned a handful of Academy Awards for visual effects, sound, and cinematography. So, good job, guys. Number 6. Rachel McAdams. Raise your hand if you've ever been personally victimized by Regina George. Rachel McAdams is a Canadian treasure known throughout the world as the pretty and plastic Queen Bee Regina George from Tina Fey's 2004 comedy Mean Girls, and I'm telling you, that thing still holds up to this day. She starred in a number of romantic and comedic flicks over the years, but she did once tell a fib to get a role in the film To the Wonder. The Notebook star was beyond excited to have a chance to work with director Terrence Malick, the creator of such films as The Tree of Life and Knight of Cups. When Terrence asked her how comfortable she was around horses, she replied, "Oh, I love them!" When really inside her mind she was like, "Oh my god, I'm so allergic." She was of course casted in the film, and when it came time to ride the beast, she was unable to hold back her tears. Literally, she swelled up and started bursting at the seams. The production was halted in the middle of filming thanks to their main actor having a severe allergic reaction the minute she sat on a horse. Now I'm not sure what made Rachel think she'd be able to keep up that lie throughout filming, unless she was like huffing massive amounts of Mucinex and Benadryl in between takes. Like people are walking around, "Where's Rachel?" "I'm here." Number 5. Hugh Laurie. Dr. House, one of the most iconic TV characters of all time. Since debuting in 2004, the series followed the life of an antisocial doctor who specializes in diagnostic medicine, solving puzzling cases that come his way using his crack team of doctors and his wit. Hugh Laurie played the titular House until the show's cancellation in 2012. He didn't necessarily lie to gain his role, but he just let the audition tape do it for him. The producers of House were adamant about hiring an American actor for the lead role and had in fact stopped watching tapes being sent in by British performers, doing American accents. So to throw off the crew, he sent in his audition tape in full American mode. He spoke in an American accent, he never once mentioned where he was from or what his credentials had been, and he just did the scene as intended and went from there. The director apparently saw his tape and hired him on the spot. Nobody knew his true origins until he showed up on set one day in his native English accent. The director was furious at first, but after just one take of Hugh as the cane-wielding puzzle solver, he knew that that show was going to be a hit. And it was. Number 4. Jamila Jamil. Many viewers may recognize Jamila from her iconic role as Tahani Ajamil from one of my favorite sitcoms, The Good Place. Despite delivering a wonderfully fun and at times heartwarming performance, Jamila actually had never acted on screen in her life before the project. She actually started out as an English teacher when she was approached by a producer in London to be a radio host. At first she was hesitant, but she said yes when she discovered that it paid 1,000 British pounds a day. She worked there for a few years before moving to America when she was just 28. After just 6 months of searching, she nabbed her first audition for the show The Good Place. Mike Schur, the creator of several shows like The Office and Parks and Recreation and so many more, asked Camilla what her experience had been. She told him that she had experience on stage. She meant acting in school plays in her teens. She also told them that she had years of acting experience on screen, which was not true at all. The only real credit that she had was the DJ gig, and unfortunately that just wouldn't have been the biggest selling point to casting directors. Schur eventually asked if she had improv experience, and she said she loved it and had done it for years. Hey guys, don't lie about doing improv, okay? It is an art. When she got the call that she nailed the audition and would be playing Tahani, the truth was only revealed after filming had begun, when Tahani told Mike the truth. She had little to no experience. Thankfully, Mike is a man who thrives on new faces. When he created The Office, Phyllis was actually a casting associate that Mike decided to put on screen, and she ended up being incredibly funny. And in case you haven't seen the show, fair warning, Jamila's gonna make you cry. Number 3. Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence was just 16 when he auditioned to play the role of Tyrone Miller, aka Mr. Clean, in the cult movie Apocalypse Now, when in reality, he was only 14. Lawrence has gone on record saying that there was no way he was fooling anybody. Apparently the idea was sparked during a meeting with a talent agent who told him that he could easily pass as an adult. The movie was famously set back due to multiple on-set mishaps that actually led to Lawrence turning 18 on set, meaning that he was no longer lying to anyone and allowed to act. Apparently though, he was only really lying for like 2 days. After the director Francis Ford Coppola casted Lawrence, he was notified that the actor was in fact fibbing about his age just to get the role, but despite the logistical issues with having Lawrence on set, nobody confronted or even mentioned this until after the film wrapped production. According to Fishburne, the cast and crew had grown very close over the production, and to this day he considers that cast his family. Ah dang it, why is the lesson here that the story is lie for what you love? Number 2. Laura Fraser. Laura is a Scottish actress who some viewers may recognize as Lydia Rodarte Quale from the hit TV crime series Breaking Bad. I don't know, I've never seen the show, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. According to Laura, she was asked by the producers of the show if she had the ability to speak German, and she replied, of course I do, it's like the second language to me. Question came following the studio seeing her audition tape and just kinda confirming one thing before giving her the green light. While she wasn't fully lying, claiming to know basic sentences like hello and my name is, she was concerned with the content that she had just agreed to participate in. Of course, her character would say more complicated things than "Ich heiße Laura." Thankfully for herself, she had enough time before filming began to learn some more complicated words, including several of the lines that she had been sent by producers to review. As fans know, she delivered a wonderful performance, and if I hadn't researched it, I might have believed she just knew German, but there goes the magic of television, I guess. And at number 1, Daniel Craig. The James Bond star is actually one of many people who fib about this particular aspect of their skills, and that is, of course, horseback riding. For many years, Daniel would have professional rider on his resume, when in reality, he had never even ridden a horse. It wasn't until 2011 when he was cast in the sci-fi, let's say action flick, Cowboys and Aliens, that his skills were put to the test. Several sequences in the film required the utmost skill and focus, and when Daniel began the rehearsal process for these shots, it became very clear that he wasn't the accomplished equestrian that he had claimed to be. Ultimately, the team brought in professional riders and stunt doubles to take Daniel's place on screen. Joke's on them though, while Cowboys and Aliens ended up getting terrible reviews and bombed at the box office, Daniel was the only redeeming factor, and his career only got better from there. Anybody seen Glass Onion? It's wonderful.
Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop. Gwyneth rose to fame starring in everything from 1998's Shakespeare in Love to Avengers Endgame in 2018. There's no denying that she is an absolute delight on screen, but did you know she's got a line of candles that are questionable to say the least. In 2011, she incorporated her company Goop, a beauty product and fashion company that believes there should be zero toxins in all products we use on our skin. The company also created a line of pleasurable objects, but we won't get into it now. Just Google it. Sometimes they have sales. In 2020, she partnered with a forward-thinking perfumer named Douglas Little to create a line of scented candles. During the testing process, Douglas asked Gwyneth to sniff a candle that he believed was ready for shelving. She took one sniff and said, "That smells like my downstairs." She didn't say that. I can't say what she said, but it rhymes with Regina, my hometown. She wrote that exclamation on the candle and sold it to her customer base. For some reason, a lot of people wanted to know what scent Gwyneth's nether regions supposedly produced. According to the Goop website, the candle contained notes of bergamot, geranium, and cedar. Hey, I think Gwyneth needs to see a doctor. Bergamot is described to be a spicy orange. Nobody should smell like a spicy orange. In our number 9 spot today, we have Kylie Cosmetics. Kylie Jenner is the youngest of the Kardashian clan and is extremely successful for her age. In 2019, she made the cover of Forbes magazine as the youngest self-made billionaire ever, following the successful partnership between her cosmetic brand and Ulta, a beauty salon company. This would allow the brand, previously only available online and in random pop-up stores, to be placed on shelves in Ulta's 1,000 plus stores. If you've ever purchased this product or intend to in the future, allow me to educate you on exactly where this product comes from. Many employees at the factory that mixes and packages her makeup and beauty products have reported that they were never given proper safety equipment that one would require to do that job. They were only given hairnets, lab coats, and safety goggles, leaving their hands and face completely exposed. Workers would regularly report migraines and mild chemical burns on their hands. And if this isn't bad enough, they were also forced to act as human test subjects for Kylie's new products. Kylie was very proud of her company not testing products on animals, but can we agree that using people is like kind of worse? I don't know. Both are bad, okay? In our number 8 spot today we have the beverage. Dan is probably best known for his time on the live television sketch show Saturday Night Live, but all you geeky peeps out there surely know him as Ray Stantz from the Ghostbusters franchise. While he is best known in the acting world, he is one of the many celebrities who opted to go the no-no juice route and decided to start producing his own brand of an adult beverage that starts with a V and rhymes with vodka. Since I actually can't say it, I will be referring to this product as Skull Juice for the rest of this entry. Dan's Skull Juice can be purchased around the world. The novelty of the product is not that it's Dan Aykroyd's Skull Juice, but the fact that the liquid comes in a large skull-shaped bottle that you've surely seen in a college dorm or basement of a mother's house. While the product may be fun for the bottle, the actual juice inside is some of the worst stuff most people have ever tasted. There are already well-established brands that exist and are some people's party go-tos. I just want to clarify, I'm not telling you to try other brands. In fact, take the money you are going to spend on the juice and buy a skull. Don't worry about it. I know a guy. In our number 7 spot today we have Prime Energy. These drinks are prime time, baby. At least they were. Prime Energy Drink is one of the most recent and popular brands of energy drinks to hit the market, thanks to the product being endorsed by former YouTube giant and current WWE punching bag Logan Paul and social media influencer KSI. The brand is a colorful treat aimed at young gamers, created with the goal of allowing the player to go hard for as long as possible. That mentality must be why they thought it would be a good idea to jam 140 milligrams of caffeine per bottle, which for anyone who doesn't game or cares about their heart is the equivalent of nearly 5 cups of coffee or 2 cans of Red Bull. Despite this heart fuel being on the shelf for a few years now, it was only recently that the FDA decided to peek into the contents of the container. Apparently the drink was causing people some hardcore health issues for some reason. That's weird. When I drink 5 cups of coffee, I feel fine. I mean, my arm goes numb and I can't see for a few minutes, but I've definitely felt worse. It was announced yesterday that the product is not only being discontinued, but it has actually been recalled from Canadian and American shelves. So if you have an unopened bottle, you should keep it. That stuff is basically gasoline. You never know when you need to refill your car. Or pwn a noob on COD. I can't believe I just had to say that. In our number 6 spot today we have Shaq Fu. Shaquille O'Neal has made quite the name for himself, both in the world of basketball and on the silver screen. Who could forget his Oscar-worthy performance as the genie Kazam in the movie Kazam? He lived in a boombox. It's a wild one, if you haven't seen it. Major Mandela effect on that movie also. To capitalize on his fame in the late 90s, Shaq partnered with a French gaming developer, Delphine Software International or DSI, to create a Mortal Kombat style combat game featuring Shaq as both the face and the main character. It was called Shaq Fu, and oh my goodness, I wish I was alive when this came out. I would have bought 2 copies, one to play with and one to sell to a museum. The storyline was ridiculous enough. While Shaq is playing for a charity sports event in Japan, he runs into an old man who tells him he's the chosen one and must save a young boy named Nezu from the evil Set Ra. On top of the story, the game had been a clear ripoff of popular games that already existed at the time. The characters were poorly rendered, the combinations were extremely difficult to pull off. In fact, most players agree that button mashing and frustration yielded better results. Needless to say, fans of basketball were confused, fans of Mortal Kombat were confused, and surely Shaq himself was confused and probably filled with regret. If you somehow find a copy of this one, nah, you won't find a copy. Boom, money saved, no problem. In our number 5 spot today we have Elton John glasses. Elton John is known around the world for his incredible voice and larger-than-life stage presence. Photos of Elton in outlandish outfits sitting at an old Steinway piano live rent-free in our skulls 24/7. Well, you know it's not free. Elton's line of eyewear. In 2021, he collaborated with marketing giants Walmart and Sam's Club to release a line of glasses inspired by Elton's many impeccable spectacles over the years. Now, this product isn't a waste of money in the sense that it's stupid. In fact, the designs online are actually pretty impressive in their design and truly capture the feeling of Elton John. The problem is that the glasses cost a whopping $200 a piece, and that's before you get whatever prescription you put in. I don't know about you, but I'm not confident that I can pull off some of these glasses. I would just be bringing shame on myself and Elton's name. Save your $200 and get a poster or something instead, I guess. In our number 4 spot today we have Goodles. Goodles, how terrible. Oodles of Goodles are coming your way. The actual actress, best known as Wonder Woman on the silver screen, teased her Instagram followers in summer of 2021 with a photo of a colorful label for something called Goodles. Gal later revealed that Goodles is a healthy alternative to mac and cheese created by a company she co-founded with company Gooder Foods that was absorbed by General Mills in 2020. She said joining the company was a no-brainer. She's a mom and her kids love mac and cheese, but the common brands aren't always the healthiest in the world. Anyone who's ever lived in a dorm knows that firsthand. It's like Katie just sucks the life right out of ya. The brand was received well, but anyone who's ever tasted normal mac and cheese will find the shift to be a bit of a struggle. According to some reviews, the plant-based noodles are grainy, and the 21 plant-based nutrients that are hidden in the mix are hidden about as well as Shaquille O'Neal behind a thumbtack. This product does not exist in Canada, and if you're in the States, you may just want to stick to good old ooey gooey mac and cheese. In our number 3 spot today, we have Steve-O's hot sauce. The former stuntman and current self-help and health guru Steve-O has had a number of get-rich-quick schemes over the years. He's attempted to market and sell prophylactics with his face on them in the past, but it's his so-called hot sauce for your bum bum that makes it on this list. Following the success of celebrity collaborations with several hot sauce brands, as well as the large number of sales connected to the release of a hot sauce line from the YouTube series Hot Ones, Steve-O decided to hop on the hot sauce bandwagon and release his own line of spicy delights. Only his delights turned out to be a bit more of a disaster. The choices are the milder version for your butthole, and there's also an extra spicy version called the Butt Destroyer, and while neither hot sauce is necessarily gross, many fans were disappointed to find that the flavor was similar to a spicy sriracha. While fans of hot sauce should maybe steer clear, fans of Steve-O should grab a bottle just for a little cartoon on the label. In our number 2 spot today, we have desserts. Jessica Simpson was one of the biggest pop princesses of the early 2000s. I can still see one of those big posters of her you'd get from like Teen Beat magazine, so big and colorful and usually coupled with Irresistible being blasted at full volume. Ah, the good old days. Jessica actually made a couple of moves outside the world of singing. She briefly starred in a handful of rom-coms alongside comedians like Dane Cook, iconic Johnny Knoxville, and Mike Myers, but we don't talk about that movie. She's also made a name for herself in the world of makeup and perfume. In 2004, she launched the beauty brand Dessert, advertised to be a line of edible skin and body care products. The idea is sound if you've ever accidentally sprayed or applied something to your lip, and you've certainly realized that just because it smells good doesn't always taste good. Fans quickly flocked to the stores to buy the shampoos and creams that Jessie wanted them to bring on their lunch breaks. However, the brand was discontinued after only 2 years. So, if you do happen to find a bottle, maybe leave it on the shelf. Something tells me that cherry blossom tastes more like vinegar at this point. The main reason that she shut down? Well, she got sued by 2 separate cosmetic companies, Cosmo Jet, and by one Mara Fox, former Precious Metal guitarist and founder of Love Potion perfume. Cosmo were claiming that Dessert owed them over $1 million in manufacturing fees that never reached their desks. Mara was claiming that Jessica stole the name Love Potion several times. The fact was, nobody can trademark that phrase, cause come on, that's clearly a Harry Potter property or something. Between the legal fees piling up and the high demand for new scents and tastes, she was forced to close the company in late 2006. You may say that she got her just desserts. And finally, in our number 1 spot today, we have Yeezys. Kanye West had massive success as a rapper, but he made a majority of his money collaborating with the company Adidas to create the shoe line Yeezys. The exclusive shoe that sold for minimum $350 in store and on shelf would release limited quantities every year, which made them rare and highly coveted. But besides Kanye's name being attached to the brand that no longer exists thanks to Kanye going nuts on Twitter in 2019, what was the big deal? Anytime I see a pic of the shoes, my immediate thought is, those look like they were made in a cheese grater. The shoes look like 6 different shoes, stitched together like some Frankenstein's monster of footwear. Look at the Yeezy Boost Onyx. This thing looks like it was designed for people with abnormally long heels, and the rubber? I don't know. These shoes are still available today, but because of the discontinuation in stores, the private sellers market has tripled the price. And even if these things were like $20, I'd rather throw on a pair of dollar store Crocs any day.
At number 10, we have Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga recently went viral across social media with a fake boomerang, and fans have been pretty confused, and majority of them have been roasting the celebrity hard over it. In a video, Gaga could be seen holding a piece of product from her brand while she was tucking her hair behind her ear, trying to mimic a boomerang effect. In the video, Gaga would also tell her fans to sign up early and gain 20% off of her House Lab products. Now, fans' comments have definitely been hilarious to read, with one fan saying she really put "I'ma put the boomer" in boomerang, and another fan would add that Gaga had actually done this on purpose to go viral with the advertisement. Given it wasn't the first time she's made a similar post, they would also note that she's a marketing genius, and they were definitely right about that. At number 9, we have Millie Bobby Brown. Millie Bobby Brown has finally decided to respond to the backlash she received after posting a video that showed her faking her skincare routine. After a video was posted on Millie's page back in 2019 of her demonstrating how she uses her vegan skincare line for teenage girls, Florence by Mills, comments immediately began to criticize the actor for pretending to use products such as her face mist, scrub, wash, and moisturizer. Fans were quick to call out the star for not using any of her products on her face, and some even noted she was still wearing makeup at the end of the video. Millie would later delete the video and would replace it with a note behind the process of her decision. Millie would go on to say, "I'm still learning the best way to share my routines as I get to know this space better. I thought doing a quick video of my replication of my personal process for the night was okay, but that's not how it was conveyed. However, if you hadn't had a chance to try her products yet, run out and grab some because it's pretty affordable and amazing." Hey Peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. At number 8, we have Amber Heard. Okay, so Amber Heard never lied about using her own brand for promotion. However, she is still worth mentioning because she tried to lie about using Milani Cosmetics to win a court case. And Milani even called her out for her lies. During Johnny's and Amber's trial, Amber would claim that she would use Milani Cosmetics all-in-one correcting kit to cover up bruises. The only problem with her claims is that Milani's all-in-one correcting kit didn't launch until 2017. Milani would even post a TikTok video that the product wasn't even available before 2017 and highlighted that the actress was using it from 2012 to 2016. Now, Amber's attorney did not specifically name Milani Cosmetics in court, however they did hold up the kit and said Amber carried this exact one every day. At number 7, we have Addison Rae. Addison Rae was accused of trying to scam fans after launching a face mist that protects skin from blue light damage, just months after another influencer had to cancel a similar product due to backlash. Addison Rae would then release her own version and would say that her product was designed to guard and relieve the skin from blue light that comes from cell phones, computers, and TVs. Many were quick to say that Addison's product is a scam because there is still very limited evidence to prove that blue light is even harmful to skin in the first place. Most health concerns regarding overexposure to blue light relates to eye strain and vision problems, not skin. So the TikTok star should have opted to create her own line of blue light glasses rather than a product to scam her fans into thinking blue light actually damages our skin. And number 6, Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez was smart when she created her makeup line, but she failed to mention that you physically can't use her products with other products. So unless you're going to buy her whole line of eyeshadows, foundations, concealers, blush, bronzer, you won't be able to do a full face because everything is going to fall right off your face due to her formula. Since Selena Gomez's line, Rare Beauty, is a water-based formula, unless you're using a similar water-based formula, you're definitely going to have some problems getting your makeup to stay all day with a flawless appearance. So with her claiming that her product really holds up and stays all day, the statement's only partially true because in order for it to hold up all day, you have to purchase the whole line, and that's a hefty amount of money to splurge on all at once. However, with Rare Beauty using their resources to support mental health and bring mental health services to an educational setting, it's a brand we seriously can't help but support, as the products do what they claim and their impact is truly beautiful. At number 5, Rihanna. Rihanna's line, Savage X Fenty, has drawn in millions in investment funding because it has been lauded for its inclusive sizing and diverse marketing. However, Rihanna's company deceptively promotes discounts and prices that are only available to consumers who are part of the company's membership program, without clearly disclosing the fact when marketing the discount. When consumers flock to the site for the deals, they are automatically enrolled by the company into an extra VIP membership. And the company doesn't clearly disclose the terms and conditions, like needing to take affirmative action every month to avoid reoccurring charges. And some of these items listed on the site are already defaulted to VIP pricing, and they don't give an option to purchase it at a regular price. So if you add one of these to your baskets, you're automatically being added to Savage X monthly membership plan. And the only way of knowing the membership will result in more charges is by clicking the small Learn More button, which will let you know you will be charged a minimum of $49.95 a month. So always read the small print. And number 4, Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian's clothing company Good American has been getting some ridicule on Instagram after some followers have accused the star of photoshopping images to make her products seem better than they actually are. When the reality TV star posted a photo on her Instagram lying on a mirrored floor, gazing at the camera, she would sport a pair of shape-enhancing skinny jeans. However, the page's followers quickly called her out because they forgot to Photoshop her reflection to match what they edited outside. Fans were quick to point out that they loved Khloe, but who is that? It just didn't look like her. And Good America, Khloe Kardashian, why are y'all doing homegirl like that? At least Photoshop her shadow. Goodness. The photo definitely ran in contrast to Good American's brand identity, as the company was designed for a curvier, stronger shape, but fans pointed out that how is your brand supposed to promote embracing yourself when they're caught photoshopping their advertisements? The lies were definitely real in this post, and it's definitely something we all didn't see coming, and we definitely won't be purchasing anything from this brand anytime soon. Number 3, we have Shay Mitchell. Shay Mitchell was slammed by her fans for making a makeup remover ad. In an obviously staged Snapchat video, the actress and Biore ambassador posted a video to promote the beauty brand's makeup remover. In the video, Shay would begin the clip by pouring the liquid onto a cotton round while saying, "I have obviously tried my fair share of makeup removers, but these are by far my favorite." She would then attempt to demonstrate the product's ability to remove waterproof makeup by swiping the pad across her own eyes. However, when she proudly showed off the cotton round afterwards, her eyeshadow and mascara were perfectly intact. One user would even call out Shay by saying, "She ain't even rub her eye, I'm crying," and another would say, "Why is she reviewing a skincare product with a Snapchat filter on?" And number 2, we have Elizabeth Holmes. When the CEO of Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes, lied about her blood testing machine's ability to run thousands of tests with just a single drop, a journalist would later expose Elizabeth's lie in a scathing article on her company. Before it all came crashing down, Elizabeth had won the trust of corporations such as Walgreens and world leaders. Elizabeth's company's products technology simply didn't do what the company repeatedly told investors, clients, and the media. While Elizabeth and her team said the machine could run over 200 tests, it was actually only able to run about a dozen, and they were actually using equipment that was already available on the market. Yet Elizabeth would hide this fact from investors, and she would claim that the company used their own equipment. They would then go on to fake demonstrations to strike major deals with companies such as Walgreens, and they also faked demonstrations with investors and gave misleading information about the product's clinical trials. And number 1, we have Kylie Jenner. When Kylie Jenner claimed Kylie's skincare line was vegan, evidence would emerge to prove otherwise, and her fans would shortly come to call out the star for her lies. After fans discovered some ingredients in Kylie's line came from animals, fans would begin to slam Kylie for promoting her products as vegans when her products such as her toner and face wash weren't vegan at all. In her vanilla milk toner, it contains ingredients such as squalane, which is traditionally sourced from the livers of deep-sea sharks. Although this oil can be harvested from plants as well, Kylie's ingredient list doesn't specify where the oil is from. Fans have also pointed out that her foaming face wash contain ingredients which are sourced from castor sacs of mature beavers. Also, her vitamin C serum smells like a meat stick. Which makes matters worse is Kylie didn't even respond to the claims, so this brand definitely isn't vegan, so if you're vegan, don't use it. Starting off our list today, in the number 10 spot, we have Too Faced. It seems like the reputational danger to Fox from this Dominion suit did not only come with bogus claims about the election, but there was also a border danger that loyal viewers of the network might begin to ask whether they are being conned. Perhaps the single most striking example came from Carlson. In one text revealed in the discovery process, Tucker tried to claim that he passionately hated Trump, and that the assessment was also so incongruous with Tucker on the air attitudes to the former president that it started to raise a lot of questions. Since at some moments Tucker has claimed that he is on Trump's side, and on other occasions he has admitted that he completely hates the guy. It's gone to the point that it has people questioning whether or not he's saying what he wants to say or someone telling him what to say, because how do you claim you like someone but then a few short moments later you claim you hate them? It's either one or the other. You can't have both. Number 9, immigrant comments. In December 2018, Tucker Carlson made offensive comments about immigration during the opening of the episode of Tucker Carlson's Tonight and lost show advertisers as a result. After he said, "Our leaders demand that you shut up and accept this. We have a moral obligation to admit the world's poor. They tell us, even if it makes our own country poorer and dirtier and more divided. Immigration is a form of atonement." In the wake of his very controversial remarks, more than 20 advertisers cut ties with Carlson's show in the months that followed, including IHOP, Red Lobster, and Samsung. And rather than apologizing, Tucker doubled down on his anti-immigration claims just a few days later when he said, "The left says we have a moral obligation to admit the world's poor, even if it makes our own country more like Tijuana is now," which is to say poorer or dirtier and more divided. Seriously, what kind of garbage comment is that? Hey, my little different species, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss out on what we might just cover next. Number 8, too costly. Tucker Carlson has been a central figure in the defamation case that has been taken against Fox News by the Dominion voting systems. The high-profile legal battle finally settled last week after Fox agreed to pay Dominion $787.5 million, but the network did not commit to issuing an apology, instead merely saying that it was willing to acknowledge the court's ruling finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. With the case revolving around the false claims that surrounded the 2020 United States election, many claims were incorrect, while it suggests Dominion somehow had a hand in flipping votes from then President Trump to President Biden. But in all of the claims' efforts to prove that the network had acted with actual malice or reckless disregard for the truth, Dominion has also uncovered a private message that told a different story from the one being told on air. On one occasion, for example, Tucker told colleagues that Trump's lawyer, Sidney Powell, is lying in some of her claims. In another, Tucker sought out the firing of a Fox reporter who had fact-checked a tweet from Trump. While many media observers thought Fox would pay the settlement and continue down the same road, we would be proved wrong, as it seems like this Dominion case proves that Tucker has become a little too costly for the network. Number 7, Maren Morris comments. Following a social media feud with country singer Jason Aldeana's wife Brittany about transgender rights comments, Maren Morris would also find herself being the topic of the conversation after Brittany appeared on Tucker's show to discuss the matter. After a statement previously said by Brittany drew in a lot of backlash from Morris and others in the country music industry after she disparaged parents of transgendered youth on Instagram. Meanwhile, during Brittany's appearance on Carlson's show, he made a reference about Morris and stated that she was a lunatic in the wake of all this drama. Morris then decided to make light of the situation by taking the high road, and she actually went on to release a merch line to clap back at Tucker's insult with the t-shirt featuring her name with the word words lunatic country music person. The shirts also included the Trans Life phone number, and with every sale of the shirt, Morris was able to raise $100K, and she used it all to benefit trans rights groups. Number 6, Kanye West interview. So while the whole world was shaking their heads at the fact that Kanye chose to display a WLM shirt and other apparel during his Yeezy Season 9 presentation during Paris Fashion Week, everyone was urging the star just to stay away from social media. However, Tucker Carlson felt differently, and he decided to interview Kanye on his decision. In the interview, Kanye would defend his decision for wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt during his presentation during Paris Fashion Week on Tucker Carlson Tonight. And if it couldn't get any worse, the interview was then aired in not just one part, but 2 parts. And in it, Kanye would say, "I do certain things from a feeling. I just channel the energy. It just feels right. It's using a gut instinct, a connection with God, and it's brilliant." But like, after all the hurt this movement caused, why would you think it was a good idea to bring Kanye on your show just to cause more hurt? I swear, common sense just isn't a thing anymore. Number 5, the legal suit. If there were legal reasons to why Fox has decided to distance itself from Tucker Carlson, they may not be confined to specific allegations regarding Dominion. When you get straight to the point of the case, you know there's this woman named Abby Grossberg, and on March 20th, she filed a legal lawsuit against Fox News, Tucker Carlson, and several others at the time. Abby was the head booker on Carlson's show, and she was fired from the network. In her 79-page complaint, Abby went on to note that her experiences were yet another in long line of cases chronicling the misogynistic environment that permeates Fox News. Her suit also alleged that the atmosphere on Carlson's show subjects women based on vile stereotypes, typecasting religious minorities, and belittles their traditions, and demonstrates little to no regard for those suffering from mental illnesses. With Abby feeling like she was coerced into giving misleading testimony in the Dominion case, she also alleged that the work area for Tucker's show, but Fox still strongly denies any wrongdoing in the case. Number 4, running for president. There has been a lot of presidential buzz around Tucker Carlson, but recently it has become more muted. So back in 2020, a report which suggests that if the anchor were to get into the 2024 race, there were many in the GOP that believed that he would be an immediate frontrunner in a Republican primary, with later development showing Carlson making an appearance last year at a key meeting of social conservatives in Iowa, and it would suggest he could actually be considering running for president of the United States. However, it is still a little too early to imagine that Tucker would depart from Fox so abruptly to pursue this thought, with so few hints being dropped in advance. If this really was his intention, he will now have plenty of time on his hands, which would make a run for office more appealing, but it seems equally like he will land elsewhere, like on another media landscape. Number 3, Teen Vogue interview. After an on-air conversation between Tucker Carlson and Teen Vogue contributor Lauren Duca boiled over regarding her commentary on Trump, the political host dismissed the writer and told her to stick to her thigh-high boots. And if you don't catch the reference, he was pretty much referencing the pop culture story she also writes about for the publication. Then just before he wrapped up the interview with Lauren, he tried to throw some major shade her way by saying, "You're better than that." Laura then took to Twitter to defend herself on the public forum by writing, "Tucker Carlson is an enemy of rational discourse. In a fraught moment, his bullying tactics are profoundly damaging and achieve nothing." Number 2, Trump's comments. A court filing made public in February of 2023 revealed that Carlson went as far to call the former president Donald Trump demonic publicly. However, the network continues to offer a platform to Trump loyalists who amplified all of these false claims. The filing included text messages sent from and some of the network's hosts and executives. Among the exchanges are several that describe Trump's false election claims and those that peddled them as effing lunatics, complete BS, and mind-blowingly nuts. Tucker also could be seen in another conversation in the wake of the election and privately took aim at Trump himself, calling the then president the undisputed world champion of destroying things and worrying that he would destroy us if we play it wrong. And coming in the number 1 spot today, we have Capitol. So back on March 6, Tucker Carlson started to face some major backlash from the Republican and Democratic lawmakers alike when describing footage from the January 6th storm on the Capitol as being mostly peaceful and not chaos. The downplay comment came after he aired select snippets from 41,000 hours of security footage from the day of the riot. But I think we can all agree these riots were actually anything but peaceful, and it was actually just insane people would even think about storming Capitol in the first place. With Tucker claiming that everything people were saying about the riot being dangerous was a lie, he also took to his weeknight program to report on the issue. He would say very little about January 6th and that it was organized and it wasn't violent. And surveillance videos from inside the Capitol show mostly peaceful chaos, but I mean, have you actually seen the footage? Because that whole thing was just insane. Well, at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that Tucker Carlson should have been fired from Fox News a long time ago, and the fact that he was able to last this long was honestly surprising. However, he's gone now, so we can all celebrate.
Kicking things off at number 10, Hilary Duff. Former Disney star Hilary Duff is known to have lied about her age. Unlike many other celebs though, she didn't lie about her age to book a role. Hilary actually lied in order to get into clubs when she was younger. She revealed that when she was younger, she used her sister Haley's ID to get into clubs, though she was always recognized. I don't think people actually believed her lies when she was trying to get into clubs when she was underage. People probably just knew that she was famous and they let her in just to make themselves look better. Ironically, she's been on a show called Younger, and the series is literally about lying about your age. Talk about coincidence. I guess all that time faking her age really paid off in the long run. At number 9, Eminem. Rapper Eminem is caught lying about his age during a Howard Stern interview back in 1999. This was at the start of his career, so maybe he just wanted to start things off by having people think he's younger than he really is. In the interview, the rapper told Stern that he was 24, but later on people realized that he was born in 72, and at the time of the interview, he would have been 27. Some people thought that maybe he just forgot how old he was for real, but we may never know. Also, side note, I didn't know Eminem was that old. I've been here thinking he was like in his 30s for the longest time, but turns out he's almost 50. I'm honestly shocked. In at 8, Jennifer Lopez. Up next, we're talking about Jenny from the Block. J-Lo was caught lying about her age back in 1999. A lot of this stuff happens in 99. For a while, she had been telling people that she was born in 1970 and that she was 29 at the time. But following a nightclub shooting in 99, she and P. Diddy, her boyfriend at the time, were brought in for questioning, and that's when the truth came out about her age. When police ran her through the system, they noticed that her information didn't quite match up, and so she had to come clean and reveal that she's actually a year older than she claimed she was, and that she was born in 1969 and was actually 30 years old at the time of the incident. Now, don't get me wrong, J-Lo is still looking fuego, but why did she feel the need to shave off a year? Just 1 year doesn't really make much difference, but I guess she just wanted to live her 20s one last time. Coming in at number 7, Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg is known for acting in productions like The Color Purple, Sister Act, and Star Trek Next Gen. She's played some pretty iconic roles, but did you know that she actually lied about her age to get a lot of these roles? Unlike many other stars who say that they're younger than they truly are to get ahead in the industry, Whoopi actually claimed to be 6 years older than she really was. Whoopi has said that she needed to pretend to be closer to her 40s in order to get a role. This lie started back in 1986 when the actress was 30, but told producers that she was 6 years older in order to book a job, so she claimed to have been born in 1949. This is not very common to see a celebrity say that they're older, since most of them want to preserve their youth in the media, but Whoopi did it to secure her bag, so props to you, Whoopi. In at 6, Jay-Z. There's been some confusion surrounding Jay-Z's age. On a radio talk show, host Troy Turan claimed that he and Jay-Z were actually the same age and were both 50. He went on to say that the idea that he was in his mid-40s was made up and that his real age was 50. A lot of people bought into that and just assumed that Jay-Z was lying and that he just wanted to seem younger than he really was. But then records came out showing that Jay-Z was in fact born in 1969, making him 44 years old when the speculation came about. But I think that he's still lying about his age. I think he's much older than that, since he's a high-ranking member of the Illuminati. This guy is for sure immortal, and maybe his records say that he was born in 1969, but really, he could have been born in 1769, and he's been alive ever since. Halfway through at number 5, Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg is one of the most coveted directors in Hollywood, and his origin story, if you will, is one of the most unbelievable tales. Basically, the story goes that he was 21 and he snuck into the Universal Studios lot, found a vacant studio, and basically became a squatter there. He pretended to work there for months until he got caught, but then his film career took off from there. But there seems to be some discrepancies with his story, mostly concerning his age in that tale. Though he recounts that this happened in 1969 when he was 21, it turns out that if his birth date is correct and he was actually born in 1946, this means that he was actually 22 or 23 at the time. But on the other hand, he's also said that his time of sneaking into the Universal lot took place in 1965, and that means that he was 17 at the time, which really means that he was 18 or 19. Basically, the bottom line here is no one knows what happened and at what time and how old he was then. I think he's stuck in a time loop, honestly. There's just too many dates and times to keep track of. At 4, Nicki Minaj. Rapper Nicki Minaj is another celeb who's lied about how old she really is. For a long time she had us believing that she was born in 1984, but turns out she's actually 2 years older and was actually born in 1982. Her age discovery actually happened in a similar way to J-Lo. Nicki was arrested in 2011, but when she was brought in by police and had to record the incident at hand, it was then that her real age was revealed, showing that she was 2 years older than she said she was. I think she lied about being younger to appeal to her demographic, since her music and her image was so colorful and upbeat. Her career was still fairly new, so marketing herself to the right audience was still important. But still, only 2 years? 2 years really isn't that much of a difference. Coming in at number 3, Rebel Wilson. After a high school photo of the actress resurfaced, Rebel was forced to come clean about her age. Although she had been claiming to be 29, the source revealed that she was actually 36. That's a pretty big jump, but you wouldn't have believed it if she didn't say anything. One of Rebel's former classmates was actually the one to call her out for lying. She said that the actress was born in 1979 and graduated high school in 97. Rebel came out saying that she felt hurt when she was called out. She also went on to say that in the film industry, a lot of people face ageism and sexism, so she wanted to seem younger in order to avoid this. She was so cheesed that she even took the publication who leaked her age to court and won just over $3 million for the defamation case because she claimed that the leak cost her jobs because of her age. In at number 2, Nelly. Rapper Nelly really bamboozled a lot of people when the truth came out about his age. Back in 2003, Nelly was included in Teen People's list of the hottest stars under 25. Obviously, to be eligible for this list, you have to be under the age of 25. That's kind of a given. So Nelly and his representatives told the publication that Nelly was 22 at the time, and so he was accepted and put on the list. Later on, it was discovered that he lied about his age to get into the publication, but this was not a little lie. Oh no. Instead of being 22 like he said, he was actually 28. That's a big jump. If you're gonna lie about your age on that list, I'd understand if you were like, oh, I'm 24, but you're actually 25. Like, that's not a big deal. But to go from like, oh, I graduated high school 4 years ago to I'm almost 30 is a big ol' stretch. Finally in at number 1, Mila Kunis. Mila Kunis has been known to lie about her age from time to time, but one instance when she lied about her age where it actually paid off was back when she auditioned for That 70s Show. When she auditioned, the producers asked her age, and she told them that she was going to turn 18. What they didn't know was that she was actually 14 at the time. That's a pretty big age gap when you think about the fact that she was claiming to be almost a legal adult when she was actually an 8th grader. Mila's argument for justifying her lie was that she was turning 18, but she never said when. She would eventually turn 18, but that was just gonna be a little bit longer than they assumed. I mean, she's not wrong, but still. Obviously this lie worked out in her favor as she booked the role, but man, it's a good thing she didn't get in much trouble for this.
Number 10, charity pledges. The infamous charity pledges. From her initial divorce settlement, Amber Heard was given $7 million. She pledged in court to give the money entirely towards charity, with a few million to a children's hospital in Los Angeles and the rest to a labor rights group. But now that a few years have passed and we're looking more closely at the receipts from this claim, we find out that Amber has donated barely anything to the charity. The labor union testified that they never received the full $3.5 million that it was promised, and that about half of the donations that it received in Heard's name came from Elon Musk, who dated Amber after her and Johnny broke up. Amber deflected by stating on the stand that she still planned to donate all the money she promised, but that the defamation suit, which which demands up to $50 million in damages, got in the way. Quote, I still fully intend on honoring all of my pledges. I would love him to stop suing me so I can. Interestingly, there are about 4 years between Amber and Johnny divorcing and the Sun libel trial, of which she was not being sued for. Number 9, the makeup palette. Previously, in the opening statement back in April, while discussing how she used to cover her bruises from Depp hitting her multiple times, Amber's attorney held up a Milani Cosmetics color correcting makeup palette. She stated that Amber had used this makeup palette to hide her bruises after the onslaught delivery by Johnny to make sure that no one discovered her bruises and lesions. But in a now viral TikTok video, Milani Cosmetics themselves refuted this whole statement, saying that their color correcting palette came out in 2017. A full year after Amber had gotten a restraining order against Johnny. Johnny Depp supporters online used the issue to allege that Amber was lying about actually being hurt by Johnny during their relationship. But now that Amber is back on the stand, she was shown the same Milani Cosmetics palette and asked if she used it. She said she used something similar to it. Quote, this is what I was talking about as a color correction palette, as a color correction kit. This is not obviously the exact one I used to carry, but I used to carry something like this with me all the time. Amber told the court that the makeup she did use she referred to as her bruise kit. She also explained that she would ice her injuries to reduce swelling, apply cream, and then put the makeup on. Quote, the idea is that you want to counteract whatever color you're working with on the bruise. So first day of bruising, well, the immediate is red. The red is what shows up right away. So you want to go with the opposite on the color wheel by dabbing a bit of green or something to counteract the red. While the attorney for Amber previously insinuated that the Milani Cosmetics palette was the one that Amber specifically had used, once the makeup brand refuted the claim, it was changed to one like this. Number 8, sharing embarrassing photos of Johnny. During her testimony yesterday, Amber was being cross-examined and asked about whether she sent a photo to a friend of Depp sleeping after allegedly having consumed substances. Johnny's attorney characterized the photo of Depp asleep with ice cream spilled on him as embarrassing and asked whether Amber had sent it to anyone. Amber stated that she didn't think so. But very quickly, the attorney showed a screenshot of a text message that Amber sent to her best friend. The message attached to the picture reads, quote, this is what I'm dealing with. When she was shown the text messages between her and her friend of the photo of Johnny debilitated with the caption, this is what I'm dealing with, Amber's attorney asked, quote, and this is you supporting Mr. Depp? Amber rebutted, stating, quote, this is me getting support from my best friend. I also need support. Number 7, never hitting Johnny Depp. At the beginning of the trials, Amber continually pressed the alleged fact that she never hit Johnny. She said that she was solely the victim to his harm and that she never raised a finger against him. We found that not to be true because the instance with the stairs became apparent. During one of their fights, Amber ran up the stairs with her sister. Allegedly, Johnny raised his hand to her sister, who got between the couple, and Amber hit Johnny to defend her. So the story changed from Amber has never hit Johnny to Amber has hit Johnny once in defense of her sister, who was clearly in a position of danger. According to Amber, her panic and fear for her sister came from the rumor she heard that Johnny had pushed his ex-girlfriend, Kate Moss, down the stairs during one of the fights back in the 90s. The rumor is absolutely not corroborated and could push the court in the favor of Johnny from Amber. Number 6, hit Johnny Depp once. Okay, so the story changed from Amber has never hit Johnny to now Amber has only hit him once in defense of her sister. But that may not be entirely true because Amber was asked about a now viral audio clip recording of her on the phone with Johnny. In the clip, she states, quote, I was hitting you. I was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched. You're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you. After she was asked about the clip, Amber changed her story once again to now admitting that she had hit him, but that it was in a provocative manner during a moment of intimacy. She said that Depp hit her in bed, and so she hit him back reactively. On the stand, she states, quote, I hit his arms, his body as he was trying to prevent me from closing the door. I knew what he would do to me when he got to the other side. So now the story has gone from never hitting Johnny to only hitting him once to now twice. Number 5, adjusting her timeline. While on the witness stand on Monday, Amber spent the first few minutes changing her story and adjusting her testimony, telling the court that the alleged harm from Johnny began earlier than she previously thought. Quote, I'm embarrassed to say I think I would have liked to believe that the period of time in which I fell in love with Johnny, in which we fell in love and he was sober and he wasn't violent to me, lasted longer than it did. She said following a review of therapy notes, she recalled earlier moments of alleged harm that dated back as early as 2012 rather than her previously stated 2013. When asked by her attorney why she didn't recall these moments, Amber stated, quote, that's not how my memory works. Number 4, Amber not being a fan. While up on the stand, Amber spent some time describing her early days in a relationship with Johnny. She also describes what she thought of him before she got to know him. Quote, I knew who he was. I wasn't familiar, I wasn't a fan of his work. I wasn't familiar with him. But then some fans found a decades-old interview with Amber in which she was asked whether she was a fan of Johnny's growing up. The younger Amber says, quote, "I mean, who isn't a fan of Johnny's? That's a given. He's been a cultural icon and talented actor since I can remember." Number 3, Amber leaked evidence to TMZ. Previous testimony from the original 2016 divorce proceedings from Amber are currently under scrutiny as well. Allegedly, she may have slipped up while on the stand originally. During Heard's cross-examination in Virginia's Fairfax County Circuit Court on Tuesday, May 17th, the Aquaman star was shown footage of her 2016 deposition in which she discussed her divorce from Depp. She was heard in the video admitting that TMZ had been alerted about their divorce as well as her filing for a domestic violence restraining order against Depp, before awkwardly covering her face with her hands. Also at the original trial, Amber stated, quote, "I wanted to tell Johnny, or have him told by Jerry," the Depp's former bodyguard, "or someone who knew him or was close to him. Basically, I didn't want him to find out online. I would like him to know information coming from me or coming from Jerry from me, so that he finds out about the divorce filing or my intention to do so from some other source other than TMZ, which had been alerted." Depp's lawyers then accused her of leaking the information to the press well before she officially told Johnny that she wanted a divorce. Amber fumbled through her responses, saying that she wasn't sure and that it wasn't her area of expertise. Number 2, Amber's broken nose. And now another time when Amber allegedly got hit by Johnny and a day later appeared on the James Corden show looking absolutely flawless. Johnny Depp's legal team grilled Amber Heard over photos of her looking fresh-faced during public appearances after allegedly being beaten up by Depp. The court was shown a clip of Amber Heard appearing on the Late Late Show with James Corden in December 2015 with no visible marks or bruises on her face. She previously told the court in her defamation trial that her makeup team had to work around the wounds and apply, quote, "super heavy red matte lipstick to hide her bloodied lip." While I don't doubt the power of makeup, it's hard to hide visible swelling. Number 1, Amber has never hit anyone. While Amber Heard had previously claimed that she never hurt anyone before her relationship with Johnny, which required her to fight back to escape further harm, and in an act of self-defense, Amber's past shows a very different story. All the way back in 2009, she was actually arrested and charged with hitting her girlfriend at the time, Tasia Van Ree. In the end though, charges were dropped, but this isn't where the lie comes in. The couple tried to claim that the only reason Heard was arrested was because the arresting police officer had realized that they were partners, not friends, and that the arrest motive was homophobia and prejudice. It was later found out that the officer who had arrested Heard was in fact part of the LGBTQ community herself. Was actually an advocate and person who fought for equal rights. The officer spoke out after this entire ordeal, saying that despite these claims against her, she arrested Amber because a violent fight occurred and that she was the one who witnessed it in the first place. So Amber directly lied under oath by claiming she was non-violent despite having a history of hitting her girlfriend in the past. No matter how this court case ends, it will definitely finish the toxic saga between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Coming in at number 10, Johnny Depp threw his phone at Amber, causing injury. This is definitely one of the biggest ones on the list. The initial case against Johnny that he harmed Amber physically exploded onto the internet back in 2016 after the former couple got divorced with irreconcilable differences cited as the reason. Although they had initially made a joint statement saying that the divorce was amicable, it very quickly got ugly when Amber filed a restraining order against her former lover. During the case against him, she alleges that Depp threw a cell phone at her during a fight, which struck her in the eye and the cheek, and that he claims he screamed at her, grabbed her face, and pulled her hair. She also submitted a photo of her face all bloodied and bruised. But documents later falsified this claim when LAPD officers who responded to the call during the time of the fight stated that they found no evidence of any crime having taken place. In the current defamation case, Heard's lawyers subpoenaed the LAPD, which basically means they called the cops to court. I guess during these current suits we'll see more of an elaboration on that fight, but as of now that's all we have. Number 9, they both claim that neither party has made false accusations for financial gain. In August 2016, after their divorce had been officially finalized and settled, the pair released another statement saying, quote, "Our relationship was intensely passionate and at times volatile, but always bound by love. Neither party has made false accusations for financial gain. There was never any intent of physical or emotional harm." Fast forward to now, the claims that neither party has made false accusations has been completely turned on its head. Not only that, but financial gain is at the forefront of these cases. Currently, Depp is suing Heard for $50 million, and she is countersuing for $100 million. I'd say that lines the pockets pretty well. Number 8, Amber donated $7 million to a children's hospital. After their divorce was finalized, Amber pledged alleged that she would donate $7 million of the money that she got from Johnny to the American Civil Liberties Union and the Los Angeles Children's Hospital. In 2021, a New York judge partially granted a petition from Johnny to determine whether the donations had actually been made. What was found was that she did not in fact donate the money, but had planned to do so. Quote, "My client is still planning to donate one half of her total settlement to the ACLU and the other half to CHLA. And while it is undetermined what those payment schedules may be, she has already made the first payment toward the pledges. She fully intends to continue to give the full $7 million, but she can't do it yet. She will do it when she can. But she has given a significant amount to both." What's the holdup, Amber? Coming in at number 7, Amber Heard wrote her op-ed insinuating that Johnny hurt Amber's career. In the now famous Washington Post opinion piece that Amber Heard wrote that spawned the defamation case, Amber alleged that her divorce from Johnny Depp had practically blacklisted her from Hollywood. Quote, "A movie I was attached to recast my role. I had just shot a 2-year campaign as the face of a global fashion brand and the company dropped me. Questions arose as to whether I would be able to keep my role as Mira in the movies Justice League and Aquaman. In fact, Amber had barely lost any traction. She didn't get her name taken off of Justice League, and she's doing just fine filming for movies as we speak. But Johnny Depp got fired off of Fantastic Beasts, and he's barely been in anything these days." Although Amber cried victim herself, it is extremely apparent that that isn't really the case. Number 6, Amber told the court that Johnny had pushed Kate Moss down the stairs. This claim was basically instantly debunked and shut down by the court. Based on a kind of old rumor, Amber voiced unsubstantiated claims that Johnny Depp had pushed his former girlfriend, Kate Moss, down the stairs after she stood up for her sister during a fight. The lawyer defending Johnny said that she was basically making up accusations as she went along to try and paint him in the worst light possible. Number 5, Amber's sister lied to the court defending Amber herself. The 3rd week of the trial of Johnny Depp against The Sun, a magazine that published a piece calling him a wife harmer, Amber's sister was called to testify for The Sun. Then, the day after her testimony, when she claimed that Amber had never hurt her or harmed her in any way, a video was sent to Johnny's lawyers by an anonymous source which disproves that statement. Depp's lawyers claimed that the video demonstrated that the sister had lied and tailored her testimony to, quote, "meet her sister's evidence." The footage in question was a clip from a reality show featuring Amber's sister claiming that, quote, "I can't believe Amber beat your ass." Number 4, he said, she said in the current court cases. One thing is definitely clear. Both Amber Heard and Johnny Depp have harmed one another. Text messages surfaced that show Depp very clearly stated that he wanted to end Amber's life by burning her and doing awful things to her corpse. Meanwhile, we've seen tons of lies on Amber's part in her attempts to cover the own harm that she has done against Johnny, as she continues to claim to only be a victim rather than playing equal parts as the perpetrator in this extremely obviously toxic and insane relationship. Coming in at number 3, Johnny Depp's self-inflicted wound or not? In the 2016 Sun article Libel Trial, Johnny Depp claims that Amber had cut part of his finger off in Australia during a fight when he was there to film a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It was later revealed in a voicemail to his doctor that Johnny had in fact cut his own finger off. The voicemail recording reads, and just so you know, a bunch of this will be bleeped by the way to keep it family friendly, quote, "Hi. Had another one. I cannot live like this. She is as full of as a Christmas goose. I'm done. No more. The constant insults, demeaning, belittling, most heartbreaking, that is only released from a malicious, evil, and vindictive. But you know what? Far more hurtful than her venomous and degrading, endless educational ranting is her hideously and purposeful, hurtful tirades and her shocking treatment of the man she is supposed to love above all. Her obsession with herself is far more important. She is so ambitious. She's so desperate for success and fame. That's probably why I was acquired. Although she has hammered me with that a sad old man has been I am. I'm so very sad. I cut the top of my middle finger off. What should I do? Except of course go to the hospital. I'm so embarrassed for jumping into anything with her. The world. Although it definitely was after a verbal altercation, Johnny has a history of drinking too much, and it is alleged that he drank way too much that night, had a fight with Amber, and it escalated to an insane degree, with Johnny harming himself after a major depressive bout. Coming in at number 2, Amber may have tried to get her friends to lie for her. In a report that was just posted only moments ago at the time of writing this, Amber Heard's good friend Eve Barlow was kicked out of court for a multitude of reasons. Eve was acting as part of Amber's legal team even though she has no expertise in the matter. It is alleged by the court that apparently she tried to intervene during testimonies from Johnny's witnesses, which is entirely not allowed in a bid to not let the truth come out. She was also very recently kicked out of the courtroom and told not to return because she was live tweeting the processes, which is strictly under lock and key, after she was caught on her phone during the proceedings. Quote, Amber had her closest journalist friends sit in the front row with her legal team at the trial, live tweeting, texting, and posting information. Even though the court has continually sided with Amber, that can't look great on her to so obviously be having someone leak information. Coming in at number 1, both Amber and Johnny have stated they never hit one another. Both are proved untrue. Now finally, the biggest one of all, and the root cause of all the legal proceedings going on. Whether or not you side with Amber over Johnny or vice versa, one thing is abundantly clear. No one person is the true victim here. While it was determined pretty early on that Johnny had hit Amber, even if it wasn't nearly as bad as she had alleged, it did happen. There is video evidence and voice recordings of aggression and harm against her. Similarly, however, Amber is the only one with a voice recording genuinely admitting to hitting Depp. In a phone call to Johnny, Amber stated, quote, I can't promise I won't get physical again. I get so mad I lose it. The hit in question was a slap. So when both parties choose to continue to deny any wrongdoing, does that mean that these legal battles will just continue to drag on forever as each person continues throwing accusations at one another with little regard for the truth?